All right, so I'm just gonna come out and say it and tell you guys that the remote closing world is definitely growing in competitiveness, but don't fear, because in this video, if you follow it step by step, I'm gonna give you 3 things to stand out as an appointment setter or a closer if you're thinking about jumping in 2023. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Remote Closing Academy.
Hey, what's going on? Aaron here, back once again from the Remote Closing Academy. And if you're thinking about even just a little bit about jumping into the remote closing world this year, you will not want to skip this video. Now, I got to give credit where credit is due, but this video was actually inspired by a guy named Joshua. He was on our podcast a few weeks ago because he used these exact 3 strategies we're talking about today to land not only his first gig in his first 30 days, but that gig is paying him $12,000 a month. So you got to watch it all the way through. Now, of course, we're going to link the entire episode from Joshua down in the description that you can check out after this video. But the first thing that we talked about that you can stand out every single time is sending a selfie style video with your outreach message when you're reaching out to potential business owners that you're looking to partner with. So let's just say you're using the Facebook outreach strategy that we talked about on this channel multiple times. You're going to want to pick up your phone. Don't just type something out, but pick up your phone, click the record button on the video and say something like this. Hey, what's going on, John? My name is Aaron and I'm reaching out based on the post that you're looking for an appointment setter or a closer in the ClickFunnels group. Looking through some of your website and your content, I think I could definitely be an asset for your team and help you guys reach the ultimate goal. You can get back to me here on Facebook. Looking forward to your response. Thanks so much. Have a great day. That's literally it. You just want to say that. Just take that, copy, paste it, use it for your own. Now, obviously you want to change that up a little bit, make it for your own style, but I wanted to go ahead and break down a couple of the reasons why this works so well, kind of from a psychological standpoint. So number 1 is because it stands out in their messenger inbox. Instead of, when you are scrolling through your messages and you can see exactly what the person's already saying, it's going to say, Aaron sent you a video, and this leads to a little bit of mystery, and they almost every single time have to read it. For me personally, I get a ton of automation messages every single day. So when I see something that's a little bit different that isn't automated, I click it because I'm just like, oh wait, this person sent me a message, they sent me a video. I gotta watch this video. Now, the second reason this works so well is because it shows that you're putting in a little bit of extra effort for them specifically, right? You're recording the video for them, saying their name, as opposed to copying and pasting the same exact message to hundreds of other companies. And the third reason is because you're showing your personality and your ability to speak, right? You're showing yourself on camera. So this is gonna help them be able to really visualize you actually selling their offer. They can see your expressions, they can see your different mannerisms, and this gives an idea of what they can expect when you're actually on the calls. Now, what I just talked about leads to the second thing that is going to help you stand out as a remote closer or a setter every single time, and that is to be intentional with your background or the setup that you show up on camera. Now, no, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy all this fancy equipment, but what I am saying that is absolutely mandatory to stand out in this industry is have good lighting, is to have a clean background, and to have good audio. So let's start with lighting. All you really need is to sit in front of a window. Like, that's the easy way, get the natural light, and it's always gonna look really cool. Or you can also get some sort of ring light, like I have it within my studio. You can find a good one on Amazon for like 20 to 40 bucks. They're all pretty much the same these days. I like personally having both options. I mean, I like having the ring light because I don't have to worry about getting dark. And also, if I wanted to get some late night practice calls in, you could do that as well, as long as you have some sort of artificial light that doesn't revolve around the sun. Now, for the background, I wouldn't overthink this at all. I would just get whatever desk that you have, push it up against some sort of wall, and then just have the blank wall behind you. This will help you a ton from not having to get a bunch of equipment or, spend a bunch of money on doing that, or, cleaning up every single time you have to go on a call. It just makes it really, really simple to be able to put on the light, to, be in front of the window, and then just have something that's blank in the background. It's minimalist, it's slick, it's easy, and there's no work that goes into it. Now, if you wanted to go out a little bit more, you can get bookshelves and tables and all that kind of stuff. My personal favorite go-to is IKEA. Like, literally, this entire office that I have is pretty much all IKEA. I love it because it's relatively inexpensive, and a lot of stuff is usually super modern and sleek, and they all kind of fit together, which is really awesome. So on screen right now, you're gonna see a couple of examples from some people within the Remote Closing Academy that have kind of decked out their setups in a way where it makes them look professional, but also not really too over the top. Now, last but not least, let's talk about audio. So you can get away with most onboard microphones if you have a newer laptop. So if you have a newer Mac, a new Windows computer, whatever it may be, they'll usually have some pretty decent microphones on them. Now, what you want to make sure though is to do some sort of test. So get on like a Zoom call or a Loom recording, or record a video that's using the actual laptop camera and the microphone itself, so you can get an idea of what it sounds like before you actually go live on some sort of interview. Now, another really good option is the ones that usually come with iPhones. Obviously, you got to make sure that it comes with with the little headphone jack there to make sure that it plugs into your computer. But these, I mean, the microphone on these is surprisingly really good. I've talked to like many of people on the other end that have these, and you can hear them really well, and you can usually like block out other noise pretty well. You probably have some of these lying around, so you don't have to really go out and invest and buy anything else. Now, if I was starting from scratch and I didn't have those and I wanted to really put my best foot forward, I would 100% invest into some sort of USB microphone. Again, you can go to Amazon, you can find these for like 40 to 70 bucks. You can get some sort of like arm like this. You can probably get the entire setup for maybe a little bit over $100. And the cool thing about these mics is a lot of times it only picks up audio that are close to it. So let's say you do have a little bit more of like a noisy background or anything like that. It's just a lot of times it's just gonna pick up right here, and you're gonna get really good audio quality. Anytime I show up on calls, I get compliments, and people are basically saying like, I'm sold already, just from literally them being able to hear me, and it just makes me sound professional, I guess. Now let's go ahead and jump into the third thing that you absolutely need to do if you want to stand out as a remote closer or an appointment setter on your interviews to get placed in some of these jobs, and that is to smile. No, okay. Well, yes, smile, but that's not it. Okay, so for real this time, number 3 to actually stand out as a remote closer or an appointment setter for these interviews, and that is to ask questions on the interviews. That might sound kind of weird, so let me explain. So I think a lot of times we get in our head when it comes to these types of interviews of like, okay, I'm on this interviews and I'm only there to answer questions, and I can't ask anything because they're this like big bad business owner, and like, I just have to be there to answer questions. And that's not it at all. Actually, what you want to do is bring in questions that are about the offer, about the amount of time that you have to be there, about the pay, about everything, right? About the company, about what their mission, vision, and values are, right? Having those types of questions ready to then ask them is not only going to show you that you're taking that initiative to ask questions, but if you don't ask questions and you're just there to answer, then how do they really know if you're going to be a good fit or not? How do they know that you're going to be able to handle yourself on, actual conversations if you can't even conversate in the interview itself? Now, I don't think there's necessarily a right or a wrong way, or in this case, good or bad questions to ask, but a lot of times incorporating your initial research about the company and then creating a question around that could really do you well and show that you've done your initial research. So let's say, for example, the company that you want to work for are really active on their YouTube channel. I would go to their YouTube channel, watch maybe 2 or 3 of their recent videos, and then come up with a question about one of those videos. So let's say, one of the recent ones was about a recent student success. I would really look into that, come to the actual interview and say, hey, I just watched the interview with John Smith that went through your program. Was he through, the program that I would be selling? And what that usually does is it starts another initial conversation, and they'll say, oh yeah, John Smith did really well. He went through this XYZ program, and that is actually what you'd be selling. So blah, blah. Do you have any more questions on that? So again, it just opens up more conversation than just the regular old interview that they're used to doing over and over again. And I promise you, if you do that, you are going to be able to stand out and be able to do so in a really easy fashion. So I'm gonna end this point with a really quick snippet from the episode with Joshua, because he really just paints it home of how using these 3 different steps really helped him get his first $12,000 a month gig in his first 30 days.
What happens is I join a few groups. I join a few high ticket closing groups. I join the ClickFunnels group. I go in there and I do some of the things you guys tell me to do. And then I think what really stood out for me is I reach out to people with a personalized video. And so when I reach out with that personalized video, everyone else, they're DMing them, but then when they see my video come in, they're like, oh, this is different. And then they see my setup and they're like, oh, this guy must be serious. And then my personality, they're like, oh, snap. Let's get him on a call.
Get this guy on an interview now.
Right. And I think just the way I presented myself and my personality really came across on camera, where they can say, oh, this guy, he looks legit. He looks professional. He looks like he takes himself seriously. He looks like, this is someone we should take seriously. And I think that really worked for me. I've always got a response when I send those videos. And so it's something super short, snappy, because like you guys said in the program, some people want you to send 1-minute videos. So this is kind of my toe in the water, so to say. Like before I even send you my 1-minute video, I'm sending you my 15-second, 30-second introduction. And you get to see me, you get to feel my energy, and most people respond. I realize that people care about your experience in this space, but they don't really care about your experience.
Yeah.
So now that you have the 3 things to stand out as a remote appointment setter and a closer in your back pocket, I want you to check out the video on screen. It's going to bring you through an entire step-by-step video of exactly how to find these jobs, what to say when you're actually in the interview process, some of the platforms that we use to make sure we get placed on some of these offers, and really a bunch of other stuff. So click the video, check it out. We'll see you on the inside.